So, what if I told you the devil was less like this guy and more like Rick James? Okay. What if I told you the devil was just like Rick James, bitch?
I would be thinking you're lying.
Yeah, exactly. Why the fuck you lying? So on tonight's episode, you got to get rid of the devil as you know and get into who the devil really is. Okay? The first thing about the devil is the devil doesn't consider himself to be the devil. He considers himself to be a royal archangel.
Mm.
Like the devil, he don't even see himself in that way. So you have to understand how crazy the devil is just off of that. Like the devil is the only demon that don't even see himself like a demon. He see himself like a Lord and Savior. He see himself like a superhero. He feels like he's always been on the right side of things no matter what. So you're not going to tell the devil he's the devil. He's going to say he's the creator of the underworld. He's going to say he runs Tartarus. He's going to say he's going to say he's
Really
the whore of
nice.
Babylon. The grandfather madam. The devil is not going to take responsibility. And so we're going to break down who the devil is, why he don't take responsibility, and how we got in the situation in the first place. Okay? So, there's no easy way to say this, but the devil is Uriel. There's no other way to there's like I can't build up into it. This is the devil right here. He's on YouTube. A lot of y'all know him. Okay, like if you've been into the spiritual community, you probably know who Dolo the Pilot Man is. If you're new to spirituality,
Who is that?
who's Dolo? He's the devil. I mean, it's like, yeah, if you're new to the spiritual space, you don't know who that is. You don't know nothing about Dolo and Polaris Moon, and you don't know about all types of stuff that goes on behind closed doors. But essentially, the devil has to be here for this because he's getting exposed and he has to be able to witness his own situation.
Mm.
So, how did this whole thing happen? Well, like Drika always says, it was just siblings. So, I always think of the situation as siblings. And Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel, even though they're the first four forms, they're their own beings now, right? The creator created itself into separate aspects and became formless. And these four beings, were all in heaven at one point, and we used to all get along, and everything was good up until the day Uriel decided to try to overthrow heaven. He don't like to talk about that. He don't like to talk about the day he tried to come up against us. That's the only topic he ain't covered on his channel. He got a video for everything but that. He told us I got a video about that. Where's the
Mhm.
video about how you try to overthrow us in heaven?
I don't know. Maybe he's saving it. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question because it's like, bro, you did a million videos and you never hit on no real shit. Real shit. You never talked about the real shit about what happened eons ago. You guys, this was eons ago, okay? So essentially, Archangel Michael, as you guys know about the Michael family through people like Tupac, Michael Jackson, Elvis. Archangel Michael is the most handsome, charismatic, talented being to ever exist, right? And essentially, Uriel fell from heaven because he got jealous about Michael. Y'all remember when Prince was like, I don't want to bring that up, but when Prince like had like the like at Michael's show when he tried to flash the light on Michael while he was performing.
No, I never heard of that. That's
That's essentially what Uriel did to Mike in heaven. Like you're okay. Essentially, the root of all evil, you guys, this is important information, is insecurity. Uriel was the first angel to fall from heaven because he was the first angel to become insecure, and he got insecure over the archangel Michael.
Mhm.
Now, that's why Adrika always talks about it as siblings because Archangel Michael's like the oldest sibling. So, like, imagine your older sibling being the most handsome. This guy looks like Paul Walker. He looks like Tupac. He looks like Elvis. Like Archangel Michael is so handsome, you probably wouldn't be able to breathe. If you when you guys come to heaven and see Archangel Michael, is you can't breathe because he's so perfect looking. You'll never see anybody who looks this perfect. Then he got the humor. Archangel Michael is all Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, Charlie Chaplin, Richard Pryor in one person. He can impersonate everybody perfectly. Then he's singing like Elvis. He's singing like Michael Jackson. And he got all the dance moves. Everybody likes him. He's just the most popular guy in heaven. And here comes Uriel. You know, I think Uriel's handsome, but apparently he didn't. He didn't think he was handsome enough, and it's because he compared himself to Michael. We never had a problem with Uriel. I don't got a beef with anybody from this family. I don't. But a lot of them be beefing with me. They taking it out all on me, you guys. It's true. Because even like Rick James, he just couldn't handle Charlie Murphy. They have an issue with us. And this even goes into, if you are the Michael family, like 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a lot of haters because we're the root of haters. We're the root of all evil in the sense that we're the reason why evil started to exist. So we're the most hated family in the universe. I'm going to pull up my family so y'all can see. Okay? So y'all know they be hating on us. Y'all know they be hating on us. Soon as we pull up to the function, here comes Uriel hating on us. As soon as we do one dance move, Uriel's gonna be like, that wasn't shit. That wasn't shit. He still be on his live stream hitting his blunt. I remember that, like it's like last year. He was like, man, y'all know Archangel Michael ain't shit.
Oh my gosh. Still,
I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I decided to go watch his live stream, and he was talking about athletes and stuff, and he was praising Steph Curry, who's Gabriel, and then he was talking about Michael Jordan. He was like, y'all know Mike greedy. He was like, y'all know Mike greedy. He's like, he's greedy. He's like, ain't no fucking way you tell me he got all them points and he not greedy. He's like, y'all know Mike greedy, but you know, shout out to Michael Jordan or whatever. Y'all know Mike greedy. That was such a good joke. He got upset. He clicked Drake out of the video. He's like, cut her out. He got mad.
Wait, what happened?
Because he can't help but talk shit about us. It's such a love-hate relationship because he'll post a picture of Tupac and be like, yeah, but then he was like, but y'all know Mike greedy, right? Mike's greedy. And this is why, as a family, as a Michael family, we have all these. That's a whole other video why we the most hated, but essentially like people calling us cocky and greedy because that's how Uriel feels about Michael. Like he feels like Mike run heaven. He always say like, who the fuck put him in charge of heaven? He always say that. He's like, y'all know God's the devil. Because in his mind, Archangel Michael, our father, is the devil to him. Because he don't feel like Michael should be in charge of heaven. He feels like he's stupid. He's a ball hog. He's greedy. And he's not shit.
That's crazy.
What you say?
I'm like, that's crazy. So I'm like, who does he feel should be in charge?
He thinks he should be in charge. So he trying to overthrow us. Don't nobody want a heaven that Uriel's in charge of.
Yeah, that sounds really not too great.
Yeah. So now when we get further into the storyline, the next aspect is the fact that like he don't consider himself to be the devil, and it's because he wasn't the only angel that fell from heaven. Okay, so there was other major angels that fell from heaven, and he considers them to be the demons and not him. You know, it's like, you know, people go out and do like some crime and they be like, he really is the one. He's the whole mastermind behind it. So essentially, like Uriel feel like he don't got, you know how it's like no town for old men, like, you know, back in those Midwestern movies where it's like you two men can't be in this town together. That's how
Mhm.
he feels. He feels like Michael is taking up his space in heaven. So he can't do his thing up in here. Like, he should be running heaven and Mike's in his way. And he don't get why everybody like Michael. Like what y'all see in Michael. Because in his head, Michael ain't shit. And he's going to show y'all that Mike ain't shit by doing whatever he got going on. So he's in a competition with us all by himself for billions of years.
That is.
He's been silently competing against us for like eons. Just to show everybody that we're not shit. That was his whole premise. Like anything you can do, I can do better. What do you say?
I'm like, is he going good?
Yeah, how's the competition going? What's crazy is that to this day, everybody knows we won. And we didn't even try to compete with him. And that's the moral of the story, too. There's so many morals of the story. But everybody know, like, it wasn't no competition. Don't tell Uriel that. He's going to try to. So, let's get into why the devil. Sorry, I needed some tea. What do you say?
I
What are you
thought you
saying,
had
Drake?
something, Drake.
Yes, Drake put me on the Wawa, some Gabriel stuff. Mhm. I got my drink like Uriel. He glurping that junk
Yeah.
like, hold on, y'all. I'm already 10 minutes in. I already did a whole fucking show. Y'all see how I did a whole show and the Masons can't even do one fucking show in 15. They shows be 15 minutes with a whole bunch of commercials. It's like I do a whole fucking show just off the intro. Masons ain't shit. So let's get into why the devil doesn't consider himself the devil, okay? So essentially, Uriel falls from heaven because he gets insecure about Michael. He's like, and then he wants to overthrow us. A war in heaven breaks out, yada, yada, yada. A lot of people get kicked out of heaven. Y'all know I was kicking motherfuckers out. Y'all know I was in there. I was serving them up. That's why they don't like me either. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, so Uriel falls from heaven, and a lot of other big angels fall from heaven. Right? And at this point, it's a whole bunch of fallen angels. But Uriel was the first one to fall from heaven. It's crazy because Uriel likes to claim he was the first to do so many things. I think he does claim first angel to fall from heaven. Now, I think he's been claiming that one, first angel to fall from heaven. He likes to say that instead of call himself the devil. Like he'll be like, I was the first angel to fall from heaven, like it's a fucking badge of honor.
Right, like
He loves saying that, first angel to fall from heaven. He loves, that's the only time he was first at something. Remember, Archangel Michael was the first. So the first thing Uriel ever got to do on his own was the fall from heaven. So he wears that like a
badge of honor.
Yeah, it's his badge of honor. That's the first thing he got to do. He built hell.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like, look at hell as Uriel's attempt to be like Michael. Because Michael runs heaven. So he feels like he needs a world that he can run too. Right? But it ends up being a failed mission, a failed operation. This is what we're going to get into. So essentially, Uriel falls from heaven, and all these other big demons, like these are high-ranking demons, fall from heaven. He's not the only archangel that falls from heaven. Several others, big major factors, some people of which you guys know or have heard of, which we'll get into down the line. So you have to understand, there's a big difference between Uriel and the other demons in the sense that Uriel fell out of love with himself, but he never lost himself. So the devil, Uriel, is an angel and a demon at the same time. He became a fire-breathing dragon. And he thought he was gonna beat up Michael as a dragon. I don't know how he came up with that. But essentially, Uriel can still be connected to source, unlike other people, other beings that are just full demons. So he has a little bit of a caveat compared to your typical demon because he fell out of love with himself, but he never lost himself. beings that are full demons is because they literally fell out of love. Like they fell all the way, like they lost who they were. Is important to note because Uriel, okay, tries to overthrow heaven. That doesn't work. So now he falls from heaven and he's like, you know, let me come up with something new. Let me come up with something fresh that people are going to love, aka hell. So Uriel's intention now, because you got to remember, Uriel fell out of love with himself. And so the whole basis of his world is to find love outside of yourself, which is a false concept. He still don't even know that, because you're never going to get it, right? So hell is being in a state of mind where you're looking for love outside of yourself. This is how it's created. Now, Uriel versus the other demons that are down there, he's the only one that's still connected to source. Mind you, the devil is the creator's original mind. He's God's mind. So hell comes out of God's fallen mind, because God has to create something. Only side that could create hell is Uriel, because Uriel is God's original mind. So God lost its mind. That's why you lose your mind every day. That's why we have so many mental health problems on earth, because this whole thing started off with a fallen mind. Now, let's get into the fact that Uriel, because he's still fallen and unfallen, he's a mixed being. He's half angel, half demon. He's running both. So he's comes down and a lot of other demons come down. But Uriel is doing this for love. He's doing this to garner some love and some affection. Okay. Demons aren't doing this for love and affection. They've thrown out who they are. So Uriel's like, let me build a world. Now you can understand how they got this concept of the forbidden fruit, all the knowledge being demonic, because Uriel's all the information, the original mind, information. Mental states are always information. So a lot of big demons come down here into this space. This space before them was already created to a certain extent. I'll talk about that down the line. Okay. But now they're creating past this space. The space that we're in on Earth was already created. The space they created is past this point. Okay. So they all get down here. And Uriel, this is when they had the divine council meeting.
Whoever that is.
Yeah, divine council meeting is pretty much when a bunch of gang members link up to take over the hood. That's essentially, but in Uriel's mind, this was gonna be like Uriel, like he don't realize that he's stupid. You know, I hate to say that word because he always calls Michael stupid, but he don't realize that he himself is the creator of stupidity. I had to throw that back out at him because that's his biggest jab to the Michael family is that we're stupid niggers. That's the last thing I heard from Uriel when he fell from heaven. Niggers. Last thing I heard. I cut off his neck. Michael knocked him down. I cut off his neck. All I heard was niggers. Niggers. And that was it. That was the end of the fall from grace. And then he was the first angel to fall from heaven. I started this. I was the first one to fall. I'm the Archangel Uriel. Ain't nobody did shit like this before. And nobody fell from fucking heaven. I started the fall from fucking heaven. Can't nobody else do this shit. Only I can do some shit like this. You bitches wish you could fall from heaven first. But what did you contribute to the universe? Ain't nobody getting more out this world than me. I always remember that's how Uriel feels. He feels like ain't nobody getting more out because this is his world to him. Even though he's not running it, which we'll get into. So he falls from heaven. Niggers. And now they're at the freaking divine council meeting. So Uriel, he's thinking this is his world. Like in heaven, you know, Archangel Michael sets up shop and people listen to Michael. Like we have council meetings. So that's what they get the concept from, because we had the originally heavenly council. So when they fell from heaven, they called it a divine council. But the divine council is the fallen angels. So anybody who was at the divine council meeting is not an angel in heaven no more. But they call themselves divine beings because they're, you know, old archangels, but they're not on the heavenly council. Okay, because I sit on the heavenly council. That's the divine council.
Divine.
Divine. They tried to remix it.
Yeah, definitely. It's missing something.
Some bootleg stuff. That's why they didn't call it the Heavenly Council, because they know ain't nothing heavenly going on. It's just some divine stuff. Divinity. Birdman fingers. So essentially, Uriel's trying to do this Michael stuff. And he's like trying to get things delegated and have a little meeting. And remember that Uriel is the original mind, so he knows more information. He got the information. So he's at the meeting, telling everybody, okay, this is what we're going to do. He has all these ideas because Uriel is looking for people to love him. So he wants to create a world where he's going to be the most loved. He's going to be the most cherished. He's going to be seen as how Michael's seen in heaven. So he's doing all this stuff, coming up with all his ideas, and everybody in the meeting's like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Right. And as soon as the meeting's over, they steal all his information and kick him out. So he built hell, but he don't run hell.
That's so bad.
Nigga, how'd you build hell and you couldn't even run it? It's embarrassing because it's what it gets embarrassing because God runs hell. And we'll get into it, but God, who you guys know as God Rael, is one of the highest ranking angels originally from the Michael family. So he gets beat up and kicked out of heaven by Archangel Michael. Then he gets his ass beat up and kicked out of the garden by Godriel. And now he's getting his ass beat up and kicked out by another Michael member for the last time. Lord. Lord Jesus Christ.
Exactly. That's so bad.
Because what he didn't realize about demons is you can't trust demons. It's like demons, they don't care. Like he was trying to like come together as teammates with them, but it's like demons don't operate like that.
So you're saying that he was doing it for love. So what were they doing it for?
I mean, what was they doing? I don't know what demons do it for. That was so funny. My sister, my mom was showing me a video.
It was like love or whatever.
I mean, they're doing it for energy. I mean, they're doing it to get something they couldn't get in heaven. Essentially, Godriel, which we'll talk about. Should I bring this up right now about why he fell from heaven? Kind of.
Yeah, because I don't know why. That's a good idea.
So Godriel, which is a very sensitive subject to me. He is similar to Uriel, where it's like he wanted to literally be God. He wanted to be the father. So he wanted that type of glorification too. Like a lot of these other high-ranking angels, a lot of them are not the 7 archangels. So a lot of them felt like Godriel's number 8. So he just feel like he's so close, but he's not quite. And if you're not in that 7 archangel slot, you can't really be a Lord and Savior. Like they don't feel like there's any glory for them. And I understand it because as an archangel myself, I'll let you guys know I am an archangel, but I'm not gonna tell you which one. As archangel myself, we don't get real glory. Like we're very removed from everything that could possibly happen. So yes, they were insecure too, and they wanted love. I mean, they're doing it for love as well, but like it's more like glory. They're doing it for love, except like they want to be glorified. I don't like Uriel wants to be loved. It's kind of like more of a glory thing. They want to have status. Like in heaven, like all the archangels, you don't really get that much glory. Like you guys don't even know that many archangels. Even if I told you guys who I was, you guys don't really know what that is. It's so removed. Like we lived eons and eons and eons before y'all. We birthed all y'all. We birthed the universe. And there's several things. Like a lot of us get bored. We don't have much to do. Like it's just a lot. Like being an archangel is very removed from everything. Because you can't even relate to people on a regular basis.
I'm like bored.
What? Right. But I would say they did it for love too. Like they're looking to be loved, but more in a glorification. But also they want to be something else versus Uriel wants to be loved for who he originally is. They want to be loved for being a whole new thing, which we'll get into when we get into the demonic families. Like Uriel was still doing it from a loving space. Like he didn't come down here and go, I want to ruin everybody's mind. He wanted to give people information. Versus they don't want to give nobody information. They want to keep running the world how they're doing it. They don't want to enlighten people, help people evolve, none of that. The main fight I'm going to have is going to be against these big demons we're talking about, Godriel, who runs your guys' world. So essentially, the reason why Uriel doesn't consider himself the devil is because he considers God the devil, not the Father Michael, but who you guys talk about God in the Bible. God is the devil because Godriel runs hell now. So imagine Uriel. He couldn't run heaven because Michael runs heaven, but then our family, Godriel, who's from the fallen Michael family, also runs hell. So we're running heaven and hell. And he's on the outskirts trying to bring it back together. And now he feels like he's not a demon because he's fighting against demons.
He's on the right side.
Now he's on the right side of history. And it gets deeper because he even says on his channel, he's like, I'm not beefing with Mike no more. I'm going after demons now. It's like, bro. It's like, bro, you the main demon we have to get after because he's still doing demonic stuff. Now, just because Uriel isn't running hell the way Godriel is, like Godriel really runs hell. And I know that's the biggest slap in Uriel's face because like he got beat out of heaven by Mike and now he's getting beat out of hell by Mike, and hell's a concept that he created. And he can't even run it. He can't even hold on to his idea.
Yeah.
And that's who everybody talks about. Everybody worships God down here, who's a fallen angel from our family, which we'll get into. So it gets deep because Uriel, he feel like that's who the devil is because he's the one causing all the destruction. But it's like, nigga, you was the first one to fall from heaven. If you never got insecure, we would have never even gotten to this place. Hell would have never been born. Like your ideas is the basis of all hell. They're just taking it to the next level because they're more insecure than you. So always remember, like you can't compete with a demon because they'll go farther than you. Like Godriel has nothing to lose. He's not in heaven no more. And also it's the intention behind it as well. But yeah, so there was something I was gonna say next about it. About like,
I guess that's why they say don't argue with anybody that don't have nothing to lose.
Exactly. Like even like how like, you know, when you see people in the streets, they ain't got nothing to lose. It's like they'll take you out. So now we got several situations going on. Godriel's running hell. Uriel is on the outskirts. Mind you, now Uriel's beefing with everybody. Uriel got a problem with everybody because he's not getting anything out of anything he's ever tried to do. And that's something I feel bad for Uriel, but it's like I can't feel bad for him because he tried to literally kill me in heaven. He tried to take me out. So it's like, it's hard because I always feel bad for demons, but it's like you got to remember they tried to overthrow us in heaven, like, and they keep it, and they're doing it on earth as well. But essentially, what ends up happening to Uriel when he gets kicked out of the garden and all these things, because it was Godriel that, you know, got Eve. The person in the garden that did all the manipulation was Godriel. Essentially, Uriel considers Yaldabaoth, all of the other archangels that had fell from heaven. He feels like they all played their own role. It's not just him. So he don't want to take the whole role of being the devil. He prefers first angel to fall from heaven because he feels like he's the one that should get the most credibility for hell. Like he should be, if we're going to praise hell, he should be getting the praises. But all the negativity from hell, he doesn't want. He wants the accolades from hell, the good accolades from hell.
Good.
Yeah, like he ain't. If you want to like talk about like we have Earth, we have the negative polarity. He would want to be praised to have created negative polarity, but he don't want to be associated with all of the crazy stuff that hell has brought, like war, famine, plagues, rape, all that stuff. He doesn't want to be associated with demons. He hates demons. He was like, I can't stand a fucking demon. Meanwhile, he's the biggest fucking one. Because the other demons didn't try to overthrow us in heaven. They followed suit with Uriel, and then they try to overthrow us. But what happens is that after they have their spat in the garden, Uriel said, I'm gonna use what he said, because he talks about that, about how afterward the creator picked him up, and he said God had musty feet, but God picked him up with his musty feet and told him he always says God has musty feet because God picked him up out of the garden, and that's when the creator turned him into the angel of death.
Which God is he talking about when he says
I don't know who he's talking about, 'cause I wasn't there, because I was in heaven at this point. So that's why certain parts of the story, you guys, we're gonna have to let Uriel tell his side of the story, because I'm telling it from the perspective of I wasn't there, but I've read the books, I've read the stories, and I know who all these people are. So it'd be like if your siblings went and created hell, or people, your best friends, and you're seeing their names. So like, I know these people, so I know how it went, because like these people I grew up with. Like, so I don't know who picked him up and turned him into the angel of death. I don't know.
Like picked him up and they had musty feet.
It's something my dad has musty feet. Maybe he's talking about Michael. But I don't know. I don't know. Is it going to be Gabriel? But Gabriel always washes feet.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about there. That
Yeah,
is
he's
a good
saying that
question for him to answer.
Yeah,
Who is that?
Somebody picked him up and they had musty feet.
And they picked him up like in a car? Well,
I think picked him up like ever seen those like video games or movies where people be like dying and somebody like picks them up and like brings them over. They picked him up and brought him over to the outside of the garden, and that's when he turned into the angel of death. So that's his claim to fame now, the Prince of Darkness.
Revived him.
What?
So someone like revived him.
Gave him some type of energy. Because that's how he gets energy now, is being the angel of death. So Uriel has to atone for being the angel of death. But that's what makes this world crazy, is because Uriel, when you die, he's the one that picks you up. Because somebody picked him up when he died. So that's how he's getting that whole thing. But essentially, he becomes the angel of death, the Prince of Darkness, Darth Vader, the Babalu, all these. What's that guy's name? What's his name from Voodoo God.
From the
Papa Legba.
Yeah.
There's more Baron Zamundi.
Yeah.
Arzeli Ugon. There's so many of these people. We'll get into that down the line. But it's when he becomes like Baron Zamundi with his blunt and his hat and his cane, and the head of the voodoo priestess, the head of the voodoo, and the head of the all kind of shit. I don't know what he was doing with that, but essentially, Uriel. That's why I talk about the devil. People selling their soul to the devil. Because what ends up happening is they make pacts after that with Uriel. So they finish off their sellings of their souls to Uriel in that situation, and now he has a little bit of ownership over certain demons that have sold their soul to him. But that gets complex. But essentially, Uriel has the power to kill. That's his main demonic power, is to like kill for energy. Anytime he gets tired, like if he's on live stream and he's getting tired, y'all better watch out, because he might just go pull up to that Travis Scott concert and knock people out and get some energy.
That's tragic.
Yeah. So anytime like there's a death that you could tell is a spiritual killing, he's feasting off of that too. And essentially that's his job now. So that's also why he feels like he's not bad, because as the angel of death, he feels like he's the sheriff in town. Like if anybody's getting worse than him, then he feels like they're being demonic. Like he's because he still thinks he controls the left side, so as bad as we can get. So in hell, Uriel loved to point out everybody who's doing bad because that makes him feel better about himself, essentially. Because it's like, I'm not the worst one down here, you guys. Trust me. This nigga over here is. Y'all warlord demon. That's what he calls Godriel. The warlord demon. So essentially now Uriel is the Prince of Darkness, the Angel of Death, which is important to note because like Uriel doesn't have sympathy for y'all. Like when you die, he don't care about none of that because he's never gotten anything he wanted. So you think he give a fuck about dropping you off in hell? No, he can't wait to pull up and put you right in hell. But he has the access to the heavenly portals and the hell portals. That's why he can do the Angel of Death job as well. So that's what he's been doing, trying to. But more importantly, he's been trying to win back the world, and that's what he's trying to do on YouTube. He's trying to get everybody back under him. And take and he's trying to take out all of these demons like the Masons and the Illuminati and all these groups that run the world because essentially they're running the world off of his information. They took his information and twisted it because like Uriel is the forbidden information. He has all the information. He's the original mental state. So they took his information. It's like this, right? If I know more than you on something, it's easy to manipulate you. I'll give a super stupid example from when I was a kid. Okay, so like I was a kid, one day at the playground, I grew up in the Black community, so there was a bunch of jinns, which we'll get into next. And one of the jinns came up to me and he's like, would you ever give a guy head? And I was like, I didn't know what head was. So I was just like, I was really young. Like I was super young. Like it was probably like 5th grade or 4th grade. So I go ask my older sister, I'm like, what's head? And you know, her being like older than me, she just thought, okay, let me tell her something. She didn't want to tell me what it was. So she told me head was giving a kiss. And so the next day he asked me, I was like, yeah, I would give head. I'm just using this as worse. What you say?
Yeah, she actually made it worse.
Exactly. I'm trying to use this as an example. Is when you have more information, you can manipulate so many people. For good or for bad. Because in her situation, she wasn't trying to like get me in trouble. She did what she wanted to protect me. But see how the truth is the only protection? The truth is the only protection. And on top of that, like when you have more information, she could have told me anything. So imagine the demons that run your world. These are old fucking demons. These are big fallen angels, you guys. These are not people that you will ever want to meet. These are people that it's like archangels are so much older than you. We can run circles around you. That's how they've been running this earth. It's too easy. We know so much. We could tell you that giving head was a kiss, and you're gonna go out there and believe it. And that is the analogy of all you guys walking around with your Bibles, all you guys walking around with all that shit. And it's funny to demons when you go around and you worship God as the Heavenly Father. That's a big joke in hell because everybody in hell knows that's not who the Father is. So we say
it gets deep.
It gets deep. So for demons, this whole thing is funny because y'all just believe in anything they say. You're not trying to see if they're a credible source. How you know something's a credible source? Because it all makes sense. That's what they call the devil, the usher of confusion. All their religions, it always is like this. Remember, I'm teaching y'all the truth. The truth isn't a belief system. It just is. I can't make it up. It's not something you have to believe in. It just exists. You guys are already in your spirit families. You are already supporting your spirit families. You are already going up against demons. I'm just giving you guys the information. I'm just giving you guys the truth. Like I told you, the truth is the only protection. And that story I'm telling you is really how it be. Y'all walking around telling people you're going to give head every day because somebody told you head was a kiss and you think you know what you're talking about. You seriously smile like how I was like, yeah, when I get older, I don't see any problem. now you the whore of Babylon.
How did that happen?
Right. And so essentially that analogy is just the perfect analogy for where we're at with information on earth, because the demons have ran all the information. You guys have no higher information from heaven except Jesus, but Jesus doesn't rule over information. So Jesus gave you guys teachings on how to be stable in love, but Jesus didn't bring down information because Jesus isn't an informational being. So all the information was Uriel's information, and they twisted it to make it fit their agenda because they're older than you. And that's why like demons are weak to me, because it's like we're so much older than y'all. I'm not a demon, but as an archangel, I'm so much older than y'all. It's like, first of all, I'm not going to be arguing with anybody on earth. I'm not going to be debating anybody on earth. I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm a fucking archangel. Are you kidding me? You have to be stupid to debate me. but that's how ignorant people are down here. You guys, somebody will try to debate me. I'm sure somebody will. It's like, you don't know I will knock you out and send you out of heaven, and then when you get to hell, you can ask them who I am, and then you might even get some clout in hell. That's how old I am. Knowing me get you some clout in hell.
They're about to debate you now.
Yeah, now they want to debate me. That's how it is. They try to debate. Meanwhile, you guys walk around with, like Uriel says this a lot, which is true. You guys walk around with other people's information, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tote it around like you was there.
I was there.
I know what giving head is. It's a kiss.
That's what I heard.
That's exactly. I asked a credible source.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the situation we're in right now. And right now, we're finally at a point where Michael, me, and Uriel can have one last battle. That's the only person I'll debate. The one last battle with Uriel, because he's holding this whole thing up.
Save the last dance.
Yeah, the last dance. Because it's like, at the end of the day, Uriel's down here, I'm down here, and we're down here to start the Age of Aquarius, which is the information. So now all the information is coming out because Uriel's down here, I'm down here, and you guys are going to find out everything that happened and why we're in the situation and what we're going to do next. So stay tuned to the next episode. I love you guys. Good night.
Don't get tap danced on.
Don't get what?
Don't get tap danced on.
wait, who's doing the tap dancing on people?
The demons.
Oh yeah, don't get tap danced by no demons, y'all. Don't walk around toting they books. Like I told you, only source you can trust is Jesus. That's it. That's the only trusted source you guys have, because that's the only archangel that's been on earth that is that old. There's some other archangels that have been on earth, but they're not even as old as these archangels. Mm-hmm. It's eons in between each person being born. So like being the 6th archangel, that's like you're billions of years even older than the 10th archangel. And these are the people that run hell. They can tell you anything.
That makes sense what you were saying. It's like pathetic, because it's like when you see someone trying to argue with someone, that would be like anybody trying to argue with a kid. You know what I mean? It's like you would look at them weird and be like, that's actually like pathetic. So the fact that they're taking advantage of essentially like kids, you know, like as they're arguing and like manipulating kids, it's extra insane to me.
It is, because it's like archangels are really messy, because it's like
why are you doing that?
What do you say? It's like